So, this is my U.S. Mid-Am qualifier course, Southern Hills Plantation Club in Central Florida. There it is, Brooksville, Florida. Um, so, before I see a new course, I like to kind of come on here on Google Maps and kind of plan out where I can hit driver, kind of get a good look, see where I need to aim, kind of using loosely that decade golf system where I talked about earlier to help manage your misses and be more confident in your driving line so you can get up there. Even if you haven't played the course before, you can kind of have a game plan going in and then know where you need to have your ball finish, like have your aiming point, and then your target line. So just makes it easier to kind of go into a round and set your expectations and know what you're going to hit off that tee, or at least know the distance, and know that it won't get you into trouble if you angle it into your dispersion or take your dispersion into account. So driver usual dispersion is 65 yards. So on Google Maps here, this is the first hole. Right here is the clubhouse. I think we're playing up a box. The course is long for the tips. It's like 7,500. I think they got us at 7,000, which is mostly from the sub tee, but one or two boxes maybe back. I don't know what they're going to be. But I'm just going to kind of measure everything from the back of this front tee here. That looks like that back tee. I don't see anything else back here. So, okay. So we're going to go from right here. I bet the first hole, they'll probably have the tee back. So I'm going to guess it's going to be back here. So you can measure the distance from the back here. My driver carries like 280, on a good hit, which is what, 840 feet. So you can pull it out here and see 840. 840 gets into that bunker, 840. But fairway bunkers, I don't really take into account. It's more the distance between hazards. So, I mean, there's nothing over here to the right. So clearly, just going to hit driver on this hole. Where will you aim it? That's the other question. So you want to kind of put it in the middle of this fairway. That's going to be the best thing. So 40, you click it, then you can come over here. But to measure the distance, you get your 840 over here. Get your 840 over here. Then you can kind of connect those two dots there and see how wide it is. So 840 into 1065, or from 1065, 8, 9, 10. So that's 220 feet. So that's like 70 yards wide there from the cart path to this. I guess it's going to be hazard. I'm not sure. Probably looks like a hazard. So that's plenty of room to hit a driver if you're just going to aim right in the middle here. So I would probably aim a little right of that. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd try to keep it right. Yeah, giving myself the chance to hit the fairway. So I would aim right here, just over the edge of this bunker. You can go into 3D mode and flip it around and kind of, my lines, they kind of show up there. Kind of get behind it here. So before you even get on this golf course, you can get back here and get a pretty good look at what you're going to see when you come up on this first tee, assuming this satellite image isn't 10 years old and there's giant trees everywhere or whatever. But you can kind of look and see, and you can see what's in the distance back here. There might be a house or a tower or something over here. But yeah, I mean, basically just taking it right over the corner of this bunker, right over this tee box, and let it fly. So I'd play a cut here, my usual cut. So I would aim my shot here, expecting it to finish over here. It's always your finishing point whenever you take your stuff into account, your dispersion into account. So finishing point here, plenty of room. If it cuts too much, there's nothing over here. So that's the way this is going to work. I'll go through each hole, before a round and kind of get the idea. This tee box, I mean, who knows where it's going to be, but I'll measure this one from up here. Number 2. So driver, I mean, water sneaks into play if I crush it, pull it. If you carry it 280, actually, I don't even think it's going to be into play. That's if you're going at the green. You're going to be aiming way over here. So 840 carries those bunkers there. So that's probably going to be the play. No matter what you hit, a bunker is going to be in play. So at that point, it's like, get it as far down as you can, if it doesn't get you into trouble. So 840 is 280 yards. So boom, that get to there. Doesn't quite reach the trouble there. 40 up here. Right there. So boom. Like here, boom. So that's 100 yards wide right there. So there's a ton of room here ton of room, so really no issue there. Definitely want to send drivers as far as you can. And at that point, you'd have just a little bit, that's 110 yards, 105 yards in. So definitely send driver, get as close as you can. Probably a birdie hole on that one. Number three is a par three, four. I'm gonna try to find a good hole here. Where was one that was a little different? Here we go. Okay, I think this is hole 15 right here. Boy, long tee box here. You measure from here. All right. So 840 puts me right in these bunkers. Normally, a bunker isn't a big deal. These bunkers, I have a feeling, are probably. Look at those suckers. This one might not be so bad, but this guy over here looks like it's pretty deep. I don't know if I want to get in those. I'm gonna have to see what those look like when I get there. Why am I zooming so far out? What am I doing? But depending on how deep those are, the play might be to lay up short on this hole. Maybe hit like my little choke 3 wood, maybe 250, 260, keep it just short of these bunkers. Because from that point, it's only like, what's 75? It's like 100 yards to the green at that point. So probably not a bad idea. Lay it back in the zone here. Maybe not a huge advantage getting it over these bunkers, taking that risk there. It's wide enough to hit driver. Like there's plenty of room here. You got another 100 yards, 90 yards between here. So if I can carry these bunkers, say it's downwind, yeah, hit driver, send it, get it way up here. Otherwise, I might lay up short on this hole. So, yeah, I'll go through each hole. I'll get my starting line and my target, and then take that on to the practice round and try to stick to that game plan through the practice round and then see what works and what doesn't. See how, if there's elevation, if it plays shorter, if it plays longer. I'll check the wind in each practice round too and compare it to the expected wind at the whenever I'm going to play the tournament round. So sometimes you'll play a practice round and the wind's coming out of the north. And then the tournament is coming out of the south, and suddenly it's a whole different golf course. So you got to kind of think of that too. Um, and then kind of think where the ball may finish if you hit driver. So if this is a downwind, driver may carry 290, 300, and these bunkers are fine. If there's no wind, in trouble. If there's into the wind, you can still hit driver because you're not going to get there. So those are other things to consider whenever you're playing your practice round, and then comparing it to what your conditions are going to be like in your actual round. So those are just some things to think about if you're preparing for a tournament, kind of how to look at it and plan it. So I'll go through each hole. What are those parameters? The 65 yards between hazards. Um, that's really the main thing at your driver distance. Bunkers aren't really a factor unless they're super deep. And then, yeah, only lay back if there's room, if there's not enough room between hazards. So that's what I'm going to try to focus on and see how that goes. All right.